Check. Let's wait for a few secs on Sam. Oh, he left. Okay, so Guman, I think it's just up to us. So feel free to use your microphone. I don't think there will be any other applicants or students coming. So now we can decide what we want to do.
Yep.
Can you see all the attendees, or is it can I just only see them?
Oh, I can see your screen. You're welcome to the session of Mechatronics. That's the slide that you have open.
Yeah, can you see all the other attendees?
Nope. Which
Okay,
one are
so
you
that's
talking about?
yeah. There's one other, Sam or Chem. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he just logged in again. So I'll just wait for a few secs.
Yep, sounds good. I can't see them on my screen.
Okay, yeah. This is a new platform for me, and we have Sophia joining us. Hello, Sophia. Let's allow Sophia to use audio as well. Can you hear us? Feel free to use a microphone. Chem is also here. Good to hear. So we can start. Sophia, is your microphone working?
Yes,
Oh,
I think
cool.
so.
Okay, so feel free to use your microphone, but let's agree on muting when we're not talking because there might be some noise for others to hear. So welcome to this session about Mechatronics, our program Mechatronics. I hope you can see the screen. Guman just told me that he can see the welcoming screen. Can you all see the screen? If not, just let me know. So I am going to talk about our program, and it says at the bottom line, if you want to know more about housing, application, financing your studies and other general aspects, then you can better ask International Office. And there's a live stream at 2:45, just right after this session, to ask any questions about those topics. I don't know much about housing application financing, so I really cannot help you. What I do know about is our Mechatronics program. So let's go to the next slide. I hope it changes. This is a new communication platform, so the Let's Get Digital is new for us too. So if something doesn't work, just let me know. Hi, Stefano. Welcome to the session. I allow everyone to use their mic if they want. Oh, you already left. Okay. So Mechatronics, and today my colleague Vincent Schut was supposed to do this presentation, but he fell ill, so he's at home, so you have to deal with me. My name is Wim Boy. That's how you pronounce it. And if you have any questions afterwards, you can always email me. Or Vincent. I don't know if you already had an email address of Vincent, but just ask any questions you like. Let's go to, the first, no, the interface is not working. Yeah, okay. I hope you can see a robot. And first, we have to talk a little bit about what Mechatronics actually is, because for some of you, this might not be that known. Just doing some, yeah, okay. So in Mechatronics and our program, we do not actually build robotic arms, but we do use them in applications. And so robotics is very cool stuff, but 4 years is not enough to make robots yourself. So if you look at this example, the ABB robot, I think there's many people spending many hours to get a robot like this, and we don't have that time. But after you study mechatronics, you will be able to work for a company that makes these kinds of robots. So robotics arms, we use them, we do not make them in the program. What we do is, for example, use drones, and the vehicle on the left, on the right lower image. This is something our students actually build. So a mini robot, we call it a vacuum cleaning project. But it is some vehicle our students really built. And at the top left, you can see some agricultural machines. So also this is in the range of machines that we make or develop or design at Mechatronics. This is an example of industrial automation. What you see here is a beer brewing company factory line. So you see a lot of green small bottles being filled with beer and capped with the caps that belong to the bottles. So also this is mechatronics, just not only robotics, also industrial automation and everything that belongs to the industrial automation. So what we call mechatronics is the interdisciplinary field of engineering focusing on controlled movement. And with interdisciplinary, I mean it's electrical engineering, software engineering, mechanical engineering, and control engineering. And I'll get back to the last one later, because that's not as familiar, I think, as mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. And the mechatronic engineer is the one responsible for keeping these machines or these systems up to date and making new machines and giving mechatronic solutions. And for this, you have to be very good at communicating with other people, for example, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and software engineers. So this is mechatronics and what a mechatronic engineer actually does. If you have any questions, just use your mic. I think you're all allowed to. Yeah, you are. So mechatronics is different from mechanical engineering and electrical engineering because we don't only look into the domain itself, so the mechanical engineering domain, but we do the overlapping of domains. And this is what you can see here. So in the orange area, you see sensing and actuating, which is the interface between mechanical and electrical. So in the real world, in the mechanical world, we sense something, we get some data, and most of the times we transfer this to an electrical system. So we do measurements with a sensor. And if you continue in the loop to the right, then you see signal conditioning in the green. And this is between electrical and software engineering. So we have to do something with a signal that's coming from a sensor to be able to do calculations, for example, in a microcontroller or a computer. And what we do with these signals is defined in the right side control, so the brain of the machine, actually. And this field we call digital control. And we call it digital because nowadays almost everything is digital, but also non-digital control is in our program. So if you start at the left, sensing and actuating, then signal conditioning and digital control, then you have to go back again to be able to move stuff around in the real world. So you have to do some, if you decide what to do, you have to do some signal conditioning again. So make a signal suitable for some actuator, and the actuator really has to move stuff around. So then you're back in the mechanical world again, so in the 3D real world. So this loop stands for what we do with mechatronic systems. We always are working in the mechanical real world and doing stuff which we would like to control. And there's parts of mechanical engineering, parts of electrical engineering and software engineering and control engineering. And we do the mechanical engineering, for example, in the same depth as they do at the mechanical engineering educational program. So it's as difficult as in mechanical engineering, but we do not do it all. So we don't care about heat transfers most of the times. So we skip those topics from mechanical engineering. And also in electrical engineering, the same courses are here in our program compared to electric engineering program. So it's not that we just skim the surface. We go into the deep, but we don't do it all. That's the difference between mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, software, and control engineering. Guman is back again. I'll allow you to broadcast again. Cool. Any questions about what mechatronics is? Then just let me know. You can use the chat or your microphone, no problems. So how are we trying to educate our students? Well, we have 4 years, and then most of the students after 4 years, they earn a bachelor's degree. So we start in the first year, then we immediately start with hands-on engineering. And this hands-on engineering we do in practicals. So practicals are skills labs or lessons. You work in pairs, just most of the times with another students, and you just build something, measure something, validate something in the real world. So examples. And the practicals give you insight in what you already learned. And of course, we start with a little basic engineering, and we treat some mechanical engineering, electrical and software engineering, because that is the foundations of our engineering. And of course, we need mathematics, and it says here attitude. Becoming an engineer requires you to have an engineering attitude. So you must be able and you wanting to look up stuff, dive into unknown areas, and get some new knowledge yourself. So attitude is for us very important. So that's the first year. I'll show you the courses we have in a different slide later. In the second year, of course, we expand. So in the engineering, we are not just in the basics of mechanical, electrical, and software anymore, but we add control engineering. And we do some robotics and vision, so having a camera working together with robotics, so with a robotic arm. And we focus on systems engineering. And in systems engineering, it's about a structured way of designing new stuff. And the foundations are still mathematical, but we aim more towards mathematical modeling, so it's more complex. And it says here professional, between parentheses, professional attitude. And that's because we ask our students to work on big projects. In the second year, there's one project that is the whole year. Next to the courses we have, of course. But in the beginning of the project, you start by asking your customer, and this can be a real customer from a company, or maybe a researcher from a research group. You're starting by asking, what is your problem? What do you really want us to solve with our Mechatronics system? So you start the customer, and at the end, after a year, you have designed and realized some machine, some vehicles, something mechatronic, which you deliver at the end of the year to the same customer. So it's from beginning to end, the whole cycle of development of an electronic system. And for this, you need this professional attitude. So what does the curriculum look? It's a bit, yep. It's a bit tricky to get to the next slide. This is the courses we have. I hope you can read them. I think you can go to full screen if it's too small. But you see, thanks for the thumbs up. You see here 8 semesters, and the last one is a bit narrow, the semester 8 at the top of this picture. Because the 8th semester is somewhat different from the rest. I'll explain later. So in green, you see the first year, semester 1 and semester 2, and we start in summer and we end in July. So we start in September, 1st of September, and we end in July, half of July. And we start with fundamentals of mechatronics. And what is different from our applied university is that we also start with doing stuff. So not only getting knowledge from books, but also from hands-on experience. So you combine knowledge with the experience you get from these practicals. And in every of these courses, there are 8 courses in the first year. In every of these courses, there's some practical setup you have to work on. So hands-on. And at the bottom, you see professional and personal development. So this is our what we call home group. So with some of your classmates, you form a home group, and in this group, you can discuss about the content of the courses, but also how to study for yourself, to discuss with others how they study, so to learn from each other actually. So we like learning together. So that's the first year. And in the second year, in I think it's salmon pink, you see more advanced courses. For example, we go from statics in the first year to dynamics, the first big block in the second year. So dynamic behavior of systems. What happens if I input something in a system? How will the system respond? And then you see digital control next to it. So if you have dynamic behavior, you want to control dynamic behavior. And the last one is robotics and vision. And in robotics and vision, we're going to work with the robotic arm and do some bin picking. You have to make a gripper for the stuff you pick up yourself. So it's a real fun project. But of course, there's some mathematics behind the working principles of these systems. And then below, you see these projects. So from beginning semester 3 to end semester 4, so the whole year, you work on a project. You have to make the requirements. So what does the customer actually want? How am I going to make this? So you have to do a design. You have to really make it yourself. So it's all aspects of engineering, mechatronics. And at the bottom, you see professional and personal development again. So it's the same as in year 1. And then you see the third block. It just says semester 5 to 7 and semester 8, because at every educational program at our faculty of engineering, so LED, Life Science Engineering and Design, that's our school, our program is in. These 3 semesters are interchangeable. We have an internship in which you go to a company or a research group and you work on some smaller assignments or just one big assignments on your own. So that's the first internship. You do it outside of Saxion. We have a minor, which is the same for every bachelor studies in Holland, in the Netherlands. So every university offers minors. So a minor you can do here at Saxion, you can go somewhere else. And a minor is just a small item in the major program. And it can be anything you like. So I studied electrical engineering at the university. And as a minor program, I studied music, something completely different than electrical engineering, of course. So it's up to you what you want to do and when you want to do it. And then we have a smart solutions semester that's now depicted in semester 7, so it seems. But you can do it in 5, 6, or 7. And the smart solutions semester is an interdisciplinary project within Saxion, so within the school of Saxion. And you might be working together, for example, with a physical therapist who is training people who lost the ability to walk. And there might be some mechanical or mechatronic setup that can help people to learn how to walk again. So, for example, in a group of 8 students from different programs, you are trying to find a way to help each other. So you're going to help the physical therapist by designing an exoskeleton for someone to learn how to walk again. So that's the Smart Solutions semester. And there are some electives you can take. So some courses you can choose from which have to do with engineering. And finally, there's internship 2. And this is our graduation period, which you also do at a company or a research group. So you can do it outside of Saxion, you can do it here, you can do it abroad, you can do it, it's up to you. So you have to find the assignments for the internships yourself. But of course, if you don't succeed, we'll just try to help you from the program. So I hope this gives you some insight in how our courses are, how our curriculum is made up. And if you have questions about specific courses, you can just ask, no problem. Any questions? I hope you got the idea. Nope, no questions. Okay, so of course, if you look at where you want to study, especially when you're from abroad and you're going to do a big journey to Europe or the Netherlands in this case, you are also looking at other universities. And I can tell you that whatever university that offers mechatronics in Holland you pick, they're just as good, because the quality of universities in Holland is very good. It's quite the same. So if you go to Fontys, our colleagues in Eindhoven, that's another city, then you'll get a very good program just like ours. But of course, there's differences. So why would you want to study at Saxion? Well, first of all, I think it's just you have to have some feeling with where you want to go. So if you like the vibe at Saxion, you should study at Saxion. If you like the vibe at Fontys Eindhoven, then go to Fontys Eindhoven. You'll be the same good engineer after you graduate. No problems there. So what is the difference? Well, in Saxion, we really value our relations with our students. So most of the students we know by name. Our students can just walk into our teacher room and just ask any questions. We are on a first name basis, so we're really close with our students, because we like working together with our students, not just teaching, not just sending information. We like to talk with our students and have close contact. So also we have a focus on robotizing the world. And not only the program is aimed at robotizing the world, so working with robots and drones, but we also have a research group called Smart Robotics. And this is the biggest research group in Europe on drones and unmanned vehicles. So it's a very good group to get some experience working with drones and vehicles. So and we are really close with this research group. So if you want to do an internship working on drones, well, this is the place to be, for example. If you want to do something with industrial automation, they also have many people working in industrial automation. So we have really good research here at Saxion. And it's also applied research, not the fundamental research, but applied. So this is a couple of reasons why you should choose Saxion. Also, Saxion is located in Enschede. So for you, the name of the city might be difficult to pronounce. Enschede, the sch is a typical Dutch sound, by the way, and not a lot of people know how to pronounce it. But Enschede is a really rural feeling town. So it's a big city. There's, I think, 180,000 people living here. Among them, a lot of students, by the way. But it's really big city, but it just feels small. So if you know how to cycle, you can get around town. Within 20 minutes, you are from the center to the skirts of the city. So if you live here in the city, you can just come to school by bike. We do have buses. We don't have a metro system. We have trains, but not within the city, so just going to other cities. But it's really easy going here in Enschede. Plus, if you go to Eindhoven, Amsterdam, there's a couple of other universities you can go for mechatronics. Enschede is the least expensive, so it's really cheap for students to live here. Also, quite a good argument, I think. So, and our educational program is, like it says here, we like to work together. So you work together with us, teachers, with researchers, with our work field, so the companies we have connections with, and most important, we have classes, so you get to know um, your peers very well, so you can work together. And if you get some friends here, it will be easier to study. Of course, you can study together. So that's about Saxion. So after you graduate and you are a mechatronics engineer, so if you wonder if there's any work to do, well, 96 of our students have a relevant job within the mechatronics field actually before they graduate. So before they graduate, while doing internships, they get job offers because mechatronic engineers are really wanted by the field, by the work field. The same holds, by the way, for mechanical engineers and electrical engineers, but our students find a job really easily. And what they do is they become a system designer. So a mechatronics engineer has overview of the whole systems. So they become a systems designer doing architecture for systems, find out how stuff works together. Maybe they bring some work to specialists for really specialist work. Some of our students are going to be testers and integrators, so somewhat higher overview level. So they use systems of others to integrate to newer systems. And well, most of our students at the end of career end up as project managers or lead engineers because they have good overview over the different domains: mechanical engineering, software engineering, and control engineering. So I think this is the second last slide. If you want to study mechatronics at Saxion, you'll need a high school degree. And some of you are still studying for this degree. No worries, you don't have to have it yet, but you have to have it, I think, by the 1st of October. So if you don't have it already, then just ask our international office how to deal with this situation. Because of course, if you're still in high school, you don't have a diploma yet. So you're not the only one. But it has to list mathematics, and physics, or something equivalent. And equivalency is not up to us as a program, but it's checked from our centralized organization of Saxion. So a lot of countries have bilateral agreements on what is equivalent in education. So we always have an admission interview, and this sounds really hard, but it's just to get to know our students a bit. And we always ask why they want to study mechatronics and what their motivation is, because we want motivated students who are really eager to learn. So we are not going to ask any difficult math questions or physics questions. It's just about getting to know and why you want to study mechatronics. So the admission interview should not be a reason not to apply for the program. And of course, we need some proficiency in English, and there's regulations, also not up to us. It's determined by Saxion centralized, how you can prove your proficiency in English by whatever certificate is on the website. So if you want to know more about what English certificates you need, then just check the website. So this is what you need. And of course, we need you to check these boxes. You have to want to study mechatronics. So you have to be passionate about technology or new technology. I, as a kid, was always taking my toys apart and was not really able to put them back together again. So I always had broken toys, but I learned a lot of stuff by, breaking my toys. Yeah, so mechatronics is very broad. So you have to be eager to learn how not only things work, but how they coexist. So mechanics and electrical engineering. So you have to have a broad perspective. So it's an applied university, which means you get hands-on experience. You don't need to have hands-on experience yet. Our Dutch students don't have any experience yet. You'll get it here, but you have to just be able to do stuff, not only think and learn from books. We want you to apply your knowledge. And of course, a mechatronic engineer cannot do it on his own, so you have to be able to work together with other students. And this is something, of course, you will learn in the program. So, yeah, this is what I wanted to tell you about the program. But I can imagine there's a lot of questions, so feel free to ask any questions you like. And let's just agree on all using a microphone or type in the chat if you prefer. Are there any questions? So I did a lot of talking. Now it's up to you. No questions? Are you still there? So, good question. In comparison to other engineering, won't it be difficult to find a job? No, because what we do into depth. So if you talk as a mechatronic engineer, if you talk about mechanics, you know what you're talking about. So it's not just skimming the surface; it's really into depth. But some parts of mechanical engineering you'll have to have someone else do, because we don't, in our program, for example, we don't treat heat transfers. So if you need help, you just ask a specialized mechanical engineer. But the mechatronics engineer is the spider in the web. So he connects all the different disciplines. So you have to be able to talk about electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and software engineering. And the people who can are really wanted in the work field. So mechatronics engineers are really wanted. And I think this is a very logic, because if you look at any system that is new nowadays, it's all mechatronics. So there's not a lot of systems that don't have any domain crossings like mechanical to electrical engineering. So people who know about who know how to combine these domains are really wanted. And you have to keep in mind that our program is 4 years. Technology is developing in this time so rapidly that in our 4 years you will just get the basics of engineering. I'm really happy to admit that you will learn way more after you graduate. So that's not a secret. So you study here for 4 years, then you know how to learn and develop yourself in this area we live in which technology is really developing fast. So you will learn more in the 50 years you work than in the 4 years that you study here. But we give you a good foundation to be able to develop yourself by giving you all these basics. Gurman, does this answer your question a bit? By the way, yeah, I will. Also, I have to be honest. Also, mechanical engineers and software engineers are really easily finding jobs. So not only mechatronics engineers, but also mechanical engineers and software engineers. So the control system, something we as users of systems we don't really think about is control engineering. And I'll just go back to the slide with all the domains. So you can see here there's mechanical. Quite a lot of, if you ask anyone what is mechanical engineering, they will know what you're talking about. Electrical engineering is the same. So people will tell you, well, something to do with electrics and currents and voltages and stuff. Software is also really known. So software engineering is just writing code, making sure that stuff works. But these three domains cannot do without control engineering, because control engineering is the thinking process, describes the thinking process of a system. So the software is actually the brains that can think, but the connections within the brain have to be defined in control engineering. So control engineering domain is something that is a domain that makes up, so processes signals and makes up what you're going to do with the signals before you send them out again. So it's actually the thinking process of the brain of the machine you make. And the software engineering is just the tool to program the brain. And of course, you also need the software engineering. Catch my drift? Yep, I saw a thumbs up. Guman, I think it's your thumb, but I cannot see who sent it. So I hope it's clear. Good question. Other questions? So maybe that's some nice feedback for the people who made this platform, Let's Get Digital, that if you have a thumbs up, that you cannot see who sent it to you. So have you already applied to universities, or are you still thinking about what to do?
I think the deadline for the documents is like this month's end. I'm just writing it up and let's see how that goes. I'm applying to Netherlands mostly.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It depends on where you're from. So there's for non-EU students, there's a different deadline, and there are some countries that have already past deadline. And
Yep.
within Europe, I think you
Yep.
have until August 1st or something like this. Yeah,
I'm in Sweden specifically speaking.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I have the.
what is the deadline for Sweden for applying?
It's the same. The thing is, I completed my education in India, so
Okay.
I'm just
Yeah.
getting my documents verified. I got a conditional letter from one of the other Nether universities. I just left with uploading my documents on the
Study link.
website.
Yeah, yeah. Study link.
It's
Yeah,
just being processed, and they're emailing back and forth. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm a little
Okay.
confused on uploading because like once you submit your application, they just email you apparently.
Okay. Yeah, if you upload all your documents, so passport, diplomas, or when you think you get your diploma and stuff, all this stuff, and it takes a while. Then they just check your diploma equivalency with your Indian diploma, and it can take a couple of days or maybe even weeks because it's very busy now, and then it ripples through to the program. But if it takes too long, then just send me or Vincent an email. I'll show my email address later because maybe we can help in the process. Then we can ask our student registration why it takes so long.
Yep, that would be great. I'm
Yeah,
just left with I think I emailed this specific university. I got an email saying that you need to submit your diploma, and I did.
yeah.
And it is like a transcribed, it's like in English. So they did state that you can submit an English one. You don't need to get it translated or such. So
No,
I don't
okay.
know on that part.
but I don't think we can read Arabic or
Yeah, no,
other.
no. It's in English. You don't have to worry. I
Okay,
completed
that's
my
good.
education in English.
Yeah.
We have like a different schooling system in India. My parents are Indian, so like I was raised in Sweden though, but it is quite
Okay. Yeah.
different
Yeah. But if
story.
you experience any troubles, just let me know.
Yep, I
And
feel
maybe
like
we can help from the program side.
yep. Any
Okay.
idea if you can upload your SOP or maybe even letter of recommendations?
I don't think you can because there's just some documents, and I think you need a CV, but you can include it in your CV.
Because I do have a letter of recommendation from one of the Americans
Yeah.
universities. Because like I did internship and things like that, so I was hoping if
Okay.
I could upload that, but I haven't got a
Yeah.
response
So
back.
I think you're allowed to upload a CV, and you can include it in this file if
Okay,
you want.
got it.
Yeah.
Then that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. So I see Thomas. Thomas raised his hand. Can you use your microphone?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you. Hi.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got a question. You are not like required to learn any Dutch, right?
No, good, very good question. No, in Holland, so there's no differences in universities in Holland, but in Holland, almost anyone knows how to speak English. So you can study. Our program is completely in English. Books are English. But if you go to a supermarket or a library or a cinema or whatever, there's always people who can speak English. So in Holland, that's not a problem. So you don't have to learn Dutch.
Okay, thank you.
And Dutch is, as I got it from other students who wanted to learn Dutch, is quite the challenge. But there is some courses you can participate in at Saxion. So if you want to learn Dutch, there's possibilities. So if you want to stay here, for example, after you graduate, you can do some courses for learning how to speak Dutch. But it's not required. Guman, you have another question.
Yeah, it was about the housing. Like, how's that? Is there like dorms in the university, or like do they assist you with it? Like, how is that?
Yeah,
And the
so
part-time.
I don't know much about housing, but I know Enschede. So there are some buildings. So Saxion has 4 or 5 buildings, which are really close to each other in the center of town. So it's a 2-minute walk from the train station and the bus station. And I know in this area there are some buildings also scattered around town for student housing. So there's some buildings that are just for students, but there's a lot of students who just live in normal houses with other students provided by a university. So all really scattered. So we don't have a campus on which all the students live, but all the students just live in the city. Is enough information, Guman?
Yep. Do you need to like get in a queue or something, or?
This is a question you really have to ask student registration or international office
Okay.
because I don't know.
Okay.
What I do know, and there's of course this is not a promise. You have to
Mm-hmm.
remember this is not a promise, but
Yes, sir.
up until now, I know that there hasn't been a student who couldn't find housing. So they were always able to get housing for our students.
Okay.
And
Oh,
also, if you have a house or a room which you don't like while studying here, you can always look for another room, of course.
yep.
There's a lot of students here in Enschede, so there's also a lot of rooms for students.
That makes sense. I
But
also had a question about the internships. Like, do you assist, like, does the university assist us with that, or how is that? How
yeah,
does that
so
work for?
yeah, we have a digital learning environment, and this is so internship is one of the courses. And if you go to our, so you can because you're not a student yet, but if you go to our internship page, then you can see a list of different companies who have assignments. and it's up to the students to just call or visit a company to ask for an internship and define a project themselves together with the company. But of course, we realize that it's difficult for our Dutch students to do this, and even more difficult for our foreign friends. So, of course, you get help in finding an internship. So we will help you finding an internship, but we'll just let you decide and try to find an internship on your own. But if you don't manage, we will help.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah. And there's a lot of companies also here in the area where they have foreign employees who speak English, and there's a lot of companies who can use English-speaking people. So there's not a problem.
That would be great. Also, quick question. If you could share your email, that would be great, just in case the
Yeah,
university takes time. Because I feel like the deadline is like for application, like filling in all the
here it is.
documents at
Yep.
the end of this month.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So our program director just left, found another job. So I'm interim program director. So if you send me an email, I just send it to the people who can actually help. Maybe I can help, but I will just forward it to people who can help you. So you can just send me an email.
Oh, just one more question. Does the university consider the SAT exam?
No, we don't.
Oh, okay.
So we need a diploma. And in our admission interviews or get to know each other talks, we'll just ask for motivation. And it's the same for our Dutch students. In Holland, it's not allowed to refuse any students with a diploma. So anyone who passed their high school exam is welcome to study. And in the first year, of course, the first year's a selecting year, because if you don't pass any of the courses, then we'll just tell you maybe you should consider doing something else.
Yeah.
But everyone who has a diploma is welcome to study here. So we don't care if they have A's or F's, or if you talk about 1 to 9 scale or 10 scale, if they have ones or tens, we don't care. So you have to
No.
prove that you're capable of studying while you're here in the first year.
Yep, got it. Thank you a lot, sir.
Okay. So if there's no questions left, then I'll just close the session. Thanks for joining. And if you think of any questions, just send me an email, no problem. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.